That was banned second phase last time round as well.
I just think right now, all Liquid needs is a hero that forces Gambit to react for around 20 minutes, and then the Morphling then can just come in and take over the game.
10 seconds!
It's a different approach this time round.
5 seconds left!
The fights are going to be very
Or do you
different.
feel like it's a similar idea, but a different draft of it?
I think Gambit's kind of gone for the exact same style as the last game.
Okay.
They've got their team fight set up. This time, instead of it being a curse, it's going to be a Nyx with Vendetta going into Impale.
Yeah.
You've still got the big catch from the Jakira as well, like the Bane. You got the push from the Wraith King. You got the big burst damage. Previously, you had a Quap. Now you got the OD ult. Like Gambit, the style is exactly the same. Just the components are now different. And I think Liquid, they understand that they should be able to win the lanes like they did in the last game, and actually now should be able to take something. The last game,
they didn't have enough team fight, did they, last time?
No, they didn't have enough team fight, and it's like they had to be so precise with their moves. And now they're just picking a more open draft where when they come out of laning phase, they're going to have the natural pressure from the Shaman ult. The Natures is always going to have lanes pushed in, and it's just going to be a much more like fluid Liquid. Oh, God, I've done it again. Hey.
A fluid Liquid draft.
Fluid Liquid draft.
10 seconds.
Thank you.
I don't know. I feel like the Sanking really enabled so much of it.
5 seconds left!
I thought the Sanking was such a key part of the way that Gambit turned that game around. Not just with the Aegis deal, but there were like 2 or 3 fights where it looked like it wasn't going well for them. I don't think it's going to be quite the same without him, but we'll see. I mean, I agree. Nyx can absolutely do well, but I don't think it'll have as much impact as the Sanking.
And Knights talk about
Gambit might go Legion here. It naturally does well against a push, and if you do get onto the Morphling, it will blow him up with the Blade Mail.
Yeah.
It forces the Morphling to potentially go Lincolns as well, which is just an unnatural item. You don't normally, you just want to go for like an E-Blade, maybe the BKB Manta, the Skadi, that kind of region. And again,
him and the Nyx could go hunting around together.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Or they could even go for a Doom still. Doom still in the pool, it's an open pick, and yeah, it's going to lane pretty well. And all you'd have to do, because the lanes might be hard if they put the Morphling there, they just keep pulling the waves around, and then the Doom will eventually get something from the lane. So yeah, I think right now it's either Doom, Necro, or Legion. They're the 3 heroes that Gambit might pick.
What are they looking for in terms of rounding
I think
out
right
their
now
draft,
it's either
though?
Doom.
What do they need that they've not got?
They need another solution to the Morphling, which also allows them to play aggressive. So the Doom, that works. And again, the other suggestion is they all provide something to deal with the Morphling and also with the push. So because what they don't want is to be in a position where they can't kill him and then there's this other win condition. But also Gambit in a very difficult spot where because they could have last pick and they are known for picking these cheesy heroes, they have to pick a hero that's going to negate most. So for example, the Legion, that might deal with the Brood for a small period of time. So that's what they're currently sitting there working out. Like, if we pick whatever hero here, what cheese are we playing against?
Night Stalker last ban.
And they could still go Darkseer actually, but again, then you have to understand that the lane might be a bit rough, but then you're playing for the mid game and then the late game. Sorry.
Okay, so they banned the Brood. That was what they were worried
Yeah,
about.
that's a smart.
Which I feel now they're going to shift towards an offlane that has a little bit less push but more team fights, potentially the Doom or potentially the Darkseer.
Or the Omni.
10 seconds!
It could be good, and it's one of those ones where you're going to say it now and you're going to pick it, and I'm going to
The sack.
Lesh?
Okay,
Leshrac.
that's kind of thrown us off a little bit.
So Leshrac minus Omni. We saw that yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was Sumail playing.
It was, yeah.
This will just be a position 3 Leshrac. CS really likes this normally. I don't mind it. I just feel it's crazy punishable.
10
I feel like
seconds.
right now, if Liquid does pick this Lycan, I feel like Gambit's going to have a lot of issues. They've got
5
quite a greedy
seconds
draft.
left!
They're going to potentially have okay lanes with the stuns, but then after that, they're going to all need to sit back and farm. The OD needs to get items. The Wraith needs to get a Radiant. Like, there's such a large window of time where Gambit has to do stuff, like farm and sit back, that Liquid can punish, especially when you have Shaman Natures. So I want to see a pushing hero right here from Liquid. They're all in-your-face guy.
You think they want to finish this way before Gambit come online?
Yeah, I think they can finish it early, but they can also play late, because of course you've got the Morphling and then obviously Oracle to play into that. But no, I think they just have the ability right now. There's a clear window where they can be extremely strong. The anticipation is killing me.
What do you think it's going to be?
I
Right
really,
now.
I really want it to be like him. I really do.
Really want it to be like it.
I really do.
Choose your
It's
hero.
Lone Druid.
That's not a
Wait,
Lycan.
you only get one?
Okay, it does the same thing. It's the pushing hero,
Yeah.
and it's with an L. So based off of our previous logic,
That's
basically
fine.
the correct
Yeah,
prediction.
okay.
Yeah.
Lycan Lone, I didn't know what I heard.
It does the same thing,
Very
so it's
similar.
fine. I'm taking it as a
Good.
half prediction.
Who's had the better draft?
I prefer Liquid's draft simply because it has the ability to punish how greedy Gambit wants to be.
Okay, well, we'll see if that one turns out to be true or not, because it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to get into game number 2. Gambit just one away from knocking out Liquid.
Wonderful start to the day, and hopefully we're going to continue to see great things as this series continues into Game 2 of Gambit versus Team Liquid. And Liquid, after losing to Gambit, are actually going to adopt something from that Game 1. They're going to pull the Lone Druid onto their side. Blitz, how do you feel about that?
I think the Lone Druid's a really good hero right now. It's one of those heroes, non-committal, high-ground heroes I think are so strong. As we see the bet, odds have gone on down. The previous series, it was almost double that.
Yeah, people have wisened up pretty quickly that Gambit is not a team that you should just dismiss so easily.
Fortune and
I
glory
thought they had the better
await.
draft last game. I liked it. I felt like their mid game was going to be very strong, and they almost overplayed to get to that late game because everybody was so farmed at that point.
Oh, yeah. I remember there was like a moment at 38 minutes, you're like, I'm just surprised that we're here. And I was thinking, yeah, 38 minutes, the fact that Liquid's lineup isn't superior at this point. This troll and everything, but they you're right. I think they just played the hell out of those team fights.
I will say that the Roshan change is pretty massive. If you think about it, the new Aegis thing, that's 4,200 gold. That's such a big net worth change that you get all of a sudden. In a lot of cases, I might actually just prefer that straight up. Like in that last game when Afterlife got it, the Sanking doesn't mind having it. He loves that. The fact that you had to choose between your SK or your Queen of Pain at that time
30
means
seconds
that it's
to
even better.
showtime.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you had two really good candidates as opposed to the secret game that we were casting where it was
like no one really
they just
wanted
kept on getting more Aghanim Scepters and most of them were pretty bad, but Immersion, see his Nyx Assassin, 1% over the average. We're going to be seeing first time Afterlife playing Leshrac for this patch. So both teams kind of adopting
Battle's
something
starting.
that
Just
was
remember,
taken
you got
by
a
their
job to
opponents
do.
in Game 1. Liquid actually getting 3 of them. 3 bounties to start here. Maybe a kill as well. No, GH does have either shot because he doesn't want to totally ruin his laning phase. But they just get a lot of harassment on the Afterlife here.
They only got 3, right? So did one get denied?
Did Mind Control deny one with his treants?
Mm-hmm.
Your
think so.
king thanks you.
Ooh, that's rough. So already, Team Liquid yet to hit a single creep and up by 600 gold.
10,000 years.
How's this matchup go? The Lone Druid versus OD, it's good for the Lone Druid, right?
Yeah, because Astral doesn't matter that much for you.
Remember you always telling me that like when it comes to OD, it's like about whether or not you can get CS around the Imprisoner. Whether it's just like nuking down waves or this instance having two different opportunities to get the last hit. And then we've got just a solo Mind Control right now in the top lane where bottom Gambit Immersion is actually going to Nyx Assassin right now. Similar to what we saw last game, is just trying to set it up so the creep wave is going to push into this Leshrac, because otherwise they're just going to get zoned out by a tri-lane.
I could see him, yeah. He's just going to TP out here.
And really, what can you do as Team Liquid to stop that? There isn't much. Just try and do as much harassment damage as possible, but Nyx Assassin just TP back to the fountain and he'll be here by the time the creep wave shows up. So they can just play pretty patient.
Still, laning phase is not bad at all for Liquid, as Mind Control can actually walk up in CS, because FNG doesn't really feel the best with the treants quite yet.
No. will be a little bit better maybe when he has level 3 and has higher levels of dual breath and fire to slow down the
Honestly,
attacks.
it's kind of okay for both teams because their top lane's going well, but Liquid have to commit the tri-lane, and they're not getting any sort of kills. And the reason they're doing this is because I think the Morphling would be very susceptible to death at this point.
Yeah. This is definitely a great kill combo.
The worst thing about playing Morphling is when you have to morph back up to strength because it takes you so long to switch back and forth at level 1. Has a very nice side pull here.
Yeah, look at this. Miracle's just really focusing on the denies. They do not want to let Gambit get to level 2 or level 3 off this big creep wave. They know it's going to push forward anyway, but if they can deny as many of these creeps, especially since the range creeps got attacked by the next wave coming in.
Yeah, they got most of these because of the range creeps dying like that.
Yeah.
This is not going to give them nearly as much as they thought it was.
They do have the shackles as well here. Merchant's going to be in a bit of trouble. Miracle can finish him off, but Adaptive Strike isn't quite good enough, and Kuro does not have level 2 for the nuke of Purifying Flames.
Yeah, part of the problem with him having to stop that wave stack is he was going to get popped by Immersion. Thought about it for a second, but
just going to keep faking it, I guess. But now the creep wave is in a position that they're happy with, that it just keeps on sitting right outside their tower, and they can no longer be zoned out by these troubling supports. But of course, GH isn't going to let that happen. He's going to try and pull the creep wave back off the easy camp and then pull it into the hard camp immediately afterwards. So now Gambit have to solve this problem once again.
And Miracle's doing a very good job of just denying nonstop and making it so that this dual lane, even if they're getting some creeps in their face, he's got 11 denies, really hurting him in that regard.
Yeah, we see a lot of denies coming out from our lone druid as well in that mid lane. At 10 denies already. Wraith King trying to copy that idea, but honestly, that hero just isn't as good as somebody like the Morphling.
I'd imagine that the Nature's Prophet is still getting levels too.
Oh, I'm sure Mind Control's having a pretty good game here. Even if he dies, right? Like, even if they do manage to catch him out, he's just going to show up the lane again and continue to farm.
And the lane's pulling back to him, and he's almost level 4. Plus, he almost has boots. I think his laning phase has gone exceedingly well, considering he is 2-on-1.
Seems like the nerf to the treants. I mean, it really just, like, you can nerf the damage and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's still, you can out-trade any solo support fight you like that. TP's into the mid lane. They're trying to go for a kill onto the OT. FNG trying to slow it down with the breath, but there's too many heroes here. As Mind Control TP'd in and Kuro made his way across. This is the danger. A laning phase that goes this well. You're going to see Furion moving around the map and showing himself.
What Liquid's going to try to do this game is just go 4-man. They have so many different ways to non-commit push towers.
Yep.
They're going to force you to come in. When you get there, Miracle will be coming on one side of the map. You try to deal with the push, all of a sudden they've left. They've just left the trees behind. And they won't really give you that straight up 5v5 before like they got in the last game.
Right. And we saw how quickly, like, if you have to move around the map non-stop, we saw Liquid just straight up give up their mid tower because they felt like they couldn't stop the lone druid from taking it.
They sort of have a similar problem again, like they did in last game, Gambit. Obviously, it didn't end up mattering because their mid game was so strong. That's Afo gonna get gone on. They're getting pretty low right now.
Another Purifying Flames. They're gonna spot him. They need vision. They're gonna spot him and get the shot down from GH immediately. They didn't even think about looking at going to the other support. They just want the tower.
I felt like I talked to you about this after the game. I said it was a mistake for Liquid to just give up their mid tower for free. This time around, they're going to reverse things a little bit. And this is the best part about the lone druid and why I liked him when you asked me about him post-draft. Because I feel like it just allows you to take this mid-tier 1 tower, it opens up the rest of your support game, and it just makes it easier for your safe lane to play Dota 2.
Now, Gambit is not without their own really crazy tower taker. They do have this Wraith King, where if you actually are allowed to get full skeleton stacks and then you just give them some free hog, Hawk did get a lot of damage onto that offlane tower. Yeah. Not quite enough to finish it, but pretty much evened out the damage that Liquid did at mid.
There's a downside to what Liquid's doing as well. They're sacrificing a lot of support levels right now as GH going to go behind the tower.
Dire's middle tower's in trouble.
Do you think this is specifically because of the tome patch? Do you think you can really sack your levels this much on supports unless you have the double tome of it?
This is a bit intense, but I think if you have a game plan after this mid tower, then it's fine.
And what is that mid that play going to be? Tough mid. We've seen in the past where he rotates very heavily with his lone druid.
I think you take the Storm Tower. I don't know if the Wraith King is really the hero that you can easily get aggressive on. I think you want to connect to this Morphling and make his life easier. Like everything to make Miracle's job a little bit better. Because I think that Liquid, they win games when you give Miracle the win condition. When you make sure that he has the absolute best hero when it comes to the ultra late game, that's when you see Liquid really start to calm down. And it feels like they don't have to force fights as a result. And I think that's huge for them.
Bottom tower is under
that is
attack.
indeed the play. They're going to make And this is one of the best things that the Lone Druid does for you, is he can assail this
Dire's bottom
enemy
tower's getting
offlane
pushed
tower,
around.
which we were having a long discussion about after the game too, and why I thought it was so important. Getting to this tower as the game
tower is under
progresses
attack.
becomes so difficult. It's on the opposite
Dire's
side of the
bottom
map.
tower.
You can't get ward vision.
Don't
Oftentimes you
look
lose
good.
your safe lane tower. And more
Hey,
importantly, I
where's
think
Dire's
in the
bottom
late game,
tower?
like post 30 minutes, it resets the clip at a really inopportune time.
I mean, we've seen, how many games have you seen where it's like, they've got 2 lanes of barracks, but there's still tier 1 alive. That tier 1 is always the off-lane tower. Every single time. Yeah, Battle's gonna go out here from FNG. After like 50 on the back line, a level 3 left track. Great body blocking there from Mind Control to ensure a route out from the Matama Men Bear. They're gonna go from not playing tier 1 to
Nice,
now
what the
tier
fuck?
2. And Gambit, I mean, they look at their heroes and like, we just don't have what it takes to stop this. There is a change though. We have the Glyph multi-shot. We can
Dire's
see
bottom
them
tower is under attack.
Part of it about last game was they had multiple ways to take fights
Dire's
like this.
bottom tower has fallen.
They had the Queen of Pain mid, they had the Sand King off lane. This time around, they've got the Leshrac off lane, who, let me tell you, without items, feels very bad. And most importantly, OD just doesn't do the same things.
Yeah.
Plus, you know that the Honda,
Radiant's
it
top
really feels
tower
like he likes
just
his
tapped
Radiance
out.
timers, but it also means that the overall pace of the game is just slow.
Good read by Apple, but it's not good enough. The root is going to be there just in time from Crow. So he turns around, looking that he's dead. He wants to get a kill out of it, but he couldn't actually catch up to that horn. And now will die to the wrath of nature.
They might even
Mind
roach.
Control. That would be pretty crazy if they roached already.
Ah, no, they're gonna go for top. It makes the most sense to go for top.
Yeah.
Who drew the line?
That would be Mind Control.
Okay.
He wants to head out to top lane. So
I saw
Matama
him.
Man's going to push in mid and then cut up there, right?
Yeah, you connect to the rest of your team. And just let this happen. Let Miracle just play by himself.
Just actively taking areas of the map away from Gambit with that tier 2 off lane gone and the tier 1 mid. The triangle is pretty well opened up. So he can just stop that part. They're gonna just sit Miracle on one side of the map and the rest of the team's gonna be the other, and that's exactly what's happening right now as the 10-minute bounty runes are coming up. Miracle's already controlled this part of the map enough that he feels like he can get both. They're gonna ensure that both the top are gonna go their way, and that's 4.
You know what I noticed about this adjustment too, like in terms of draft, is I think Liquid realizes that Gambit picks 2 supports that are better in the mid game.
Oh, look at that surround.
Classic.
Sprout into Treant spawn, total surround on the Nyx assassin.
I think they picked pretty bad, like ganking
Dire's
heroes
top tower is
for
under
the last
attack.
2 games.
Dire's top
I mean,
tower.
I think I
ain't
saw
a
2 of
tower
the games,
no
2
more.
versus Secret or EG, where they just couldn't really rotate.
Yeah.
And so your mid game is going to hit real hard. But this laning phase, I feel like, is very abusable. You essentially have 3 cores that need farm. Your Wraith King with Midas is not very scary. Whereas Miracle's timing is just going to come really quickly.
And with the tome changes, it's 11 minutes in, and they've got 1 level 6 support and another one who's level 5.5. So we talked about how their levels are going to be sacked a bit, but the combination of the double tomes as well as, you know, they got a couple of kills as well that I'm
And
sure
they're
helped.
getting high priority kills.
Yeah.
Like they killed Nick twice. It doesn't feel bad whatsoever.
And when you've got this much map control, Miracle is going to be playing in jungle a lot. Mind Control can do the same. That opens up certain lanes like mid, where Kuro can just kind of hang out, get free CS. 9,000 net worth lead already. We're getting a shutout right now. It's 7-0. It was a tough back and forth game that Gambit managed to pull the victory out there, but this is looking like it's going to be all Liquid.
I think part of it is that they sort of forgot what won them that game. It was the ability to just like fight nonstop.
Yeah.
They didn't overgreed it, which I think is kind of the key against Liquid, because Liquid, when they're at their best, I feel like they're securing the late game with some sort of pick for Miracle, whether it's Morphling, Anti-Mage, some sort of hero that just scales really well for the late game.
Kuro being chased in by the EO team, but at the same time, Immersion's going to be found, scared away. The Tumba Man going to body block him here and allow his bear to be able to get a little bit closer as well, be able to get the root. Probably ensure that Immersion does die here.
Now they're going to go for the Roche. Yep.
Now they've got Roche with the Serpent Wards up. And there's just nothing Gambit can seemingly do. I mean, their cores are too green. We heard T-Governor talk about it. He liked Liquid because he said they got a way to punish the greed from Gambit. You've got a Leshrac, an OD, and a Wraith King that all need farm, that all need levels. Gambit trying to get inside the pit right now with a macro fire. They're going to throw down here, but between the bear and the wards, they're just slowly going to take the Roshan without taking any hero damage here. They're position themselves to pick up the Aegis.
Him and that Aegis. Glad I never messed up that bad.
So Blitz, I mean, we're seeing a totally one-sided game here. So when is it going to happen? When does Gambit's lineup come online and we can see them actually rotating to defend towers and fight Team Liquid head-on?
Like 15 minutes from now.
They're just that far behind.
It's more like
Radiant's
they need to hit
bottom
their
tower
timing.
is under attack.
Like, the downside of Wraith King is like, the upside of Wraith King is he's a safe lane hero that you don't want to mess with. He's not easy to gank because you know that it's most likely gonna take twice. So when you go to a safe lane tower, if you gank him under the tower and you get the first line, you go,
Oh, didn't go for the vendetta. No, Immersion, no.
Buddy. That's a free kill now.
Killing spree! That is putting a hurt on Radiant's
That
players.
is pretty massive actually, because that's 4 minutes on the Aegis.
Thank you, peasant.
That was a level 6 Nyx assassin that would have killed a level 10 Morphling solo and taken away the Aegis. I guess he wouldn't have gotten experience, but still, taking away that Aegis would have slowed down Liquid a lot.
That is so unfortunate. I think he went for the hit, but then queued up the stun too quick.
Yeah.
Because he had to have known that the stun alone wouldn't have killed. He had 260 HP. Plus, as soon as the stun connects, you know that Miracle's like on the case. It's like, I've been hit.
Radiant's top tower's under attack.
Oh, they're just going for it right now.
Serpent Wards once again. Very low committal, but high damage on this tier 3.
Ain't looking too steady.
Finish off this bear, much like Liquid tried to do. GH actually from a long range. Just get the they can bring down one of these heroes low enough. They got a conversion. There's something to do. Bear
Tower is falling.
down, managed to get the ice path. They're going to try and finish up the Wraith King while going for the left. At the same time, there goes the reincarnation of the Wraith King. And nobody from Gambit is really behind him. They're going to buy back through the left track and finally TP. But again, it's OD at level 11.
Who knew
15
Dyer's
minutes
bottom
in.
barracks
It's
had
not
so many
right.
enemies?
And Liquid are done this here. It's buy back in these rotations, but now they've lost their second bear. It's probably time to retreat. There goes all your building damage.
Yeah, now they're going to reset here as Matama Man goes down.
Matama Man, no! Immersion, too slow with the impale.
He's going to get nobody now for that.
He's got nothing.
And the casual Kaya is now complete for the OD, but again, timing has moved up so rapidly.
There's only ever been 6 shutouts on land, most recently EG shutting out Liquid. I always remember the most famous shutout for me was ESO1 Frankfurt. Remember Toby and Sin were casting because
Was it,
the 22-0
IG?
Yeah, it was IG versus EG. I think that was the end of the series too, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it was. Because you can see Apos just had a rough go of it. Only been hitting creeps non-stop because he knows his hero just can't really fight yet. They've got to just bite the bullet, lose all their towers, and
He's
hope
so
that Liquid
far.
makes some sort of mistake pushing high ground.
Yeah, he's so far behind in net worth, though. Somebody who isn't, though, is this Wraith King, who just about has that Radiance. I think once you have Radiance, you just smoke and take a fight.
Yeah, you got to.
Dyer is scared.
Unfortunately, the Hawk can't play hyper-aggressive right now because that was the level 1 reincarnation when it went down, so that very long cooldown is still there for another 90 seconds, so he can't really actually farm creeps in lane.
You can tell he's very afraid
Yeah.
to pop out, and rightfully so.
His Radiance gets slowed down any further than Liquid. I mean, every single minute that passed by, they just had a field day with Gambit.
And the best part about having Radiance, though, is it speeds up everything. It allows you to finally be a presence in team fights. It allows you to farm much quicker. But having Radiance alone is never that scary.
They're gonna find Immersion here once again. I always feel like when I'm playing Wraith King, when I had the Radiance, it's like almost exponential. If I'm farming creeps faster, that also means I'm farming up skeletons faster.
Yes.
Which means I'm popping out skeletons to farm creeps even faster.
It's a very snowball effect.
about to be Radiant's top rubble.
So we see Mind Control this time on the Nature's Prophet. Looks so much better than
tower
he
is
was on
under
the
attack.
Because I feel like his job was so limited. But he's a playmaker at the end of the day. He's one of those guys that I think really likes having net worth items, being able to do
Radiant's bottom
essentially
tower
what
needs a
Afterlife
hand.
did.
And that was why when they won, right? The TI was Matama Man had to play very sacrificial in that regard for both 2 and 3
But
position.
not for long.
Miracle and Mind Control. They were both a bit greedy. Turning into a Jakiro here just to...
Oh, look at both though. Nature's Prophet.
Oh yeah, Nature's Prophet is he's doing building damage right now. Gambit gonna have to split up trying to defend both right now, but the range barracks is already dead. See if they can actually catch Mind Control here. The clean out the range barracks as well. That is going to be the Nature's Prophet going down at bottom lane. So a good pick, even if it costs them the ranged barracks. Honestly, just getting on the board, I'm sure no longer seeing the goose egg is going to help Gambit a little bit psychologically.
But losing the tier 3 tower racks this early on, in Liquid can't be sad about that. They got a lot of damage onto this tier 3 tower at the top. Got a racks at 18 minutes. But now the game slightly changes because of the Radiance on this Wraith King. And despite having like that heavy tower disadvantage, they're not that far behind.
Yeah, I mean the Wraith King is actually over the Lone Druid in net worth right now, which is super impressive.
Yeah, like he can still sort of do it. He just needs a little bit of backup right now. He needs a second core to slowly come online. But that might get a little bit harder as Mind Control now has an Orchid, and there's a big item pickup on the Shaman with the Blink Dagger.
Afterlife is level 11, so he's not so far behind in levels. We won't talk about his net worth, but he's got levels going for him at least. Force staff for the OD. Gonna have to definitely play an in and out game here. Needs to have a way to get through the Sprout as well.
Gotta be careful here because GH is waiting in the wings.
How does that even work?
Instead, gonna go for the bounty runes.
I like how they played that safe. They didn't try and get greedy and go for the bounty rune.
I mean, Afro might just get gone on right now. GH drops the sentry to make sure that Immersion isn't on top of him. Just go for him. And that's exactly what he does.
All Gambit left it as soon as they got that bounty rune.
That was so smart by him. Drop the sentry because the Nyx was down there for some time.
Yeah.
Sort of scouting things out. And Afro should know about that too. He saw the Treens just recently get spawned. They want to try to make a move on a Kuro.
Dire's middle tower looks
pretty
to be
big for them. They need to get rid of the Oracle as fast as they can.
Yeah, I mean, they have a hard enough time killing one person.
Dire's middle tower is falling.
And with an Oracle sitting behind with the
Dire's bottom shrine is under attack.
Saves. Pretty much have to go for him first.
Dire's bottom shrine is under
other
attack.
Shrine, all semblance of map control.
Dire's bottom
And
shrine
Liquid
is
can just
falling.
keep farming until gets the next Roshan. There's no need for you to... Because I guess I just don't feel like there's an item that's coming up in 3 or 4 minutes that is really significantly going to change Gambit's day. You know?
Yeah.
It's just going to have to come down to the team fight.
This Leshrac is definitely not getting any new items.
Yeah, he just
bought the hood, I think, thinking he was going to be so far behind in net worth.
Yeah.
Which he's not wrong about.
No, he's not. He's been behind the Shadow Shaman for so long. We're going to see that play again at bottom lane. Drops the sentry, makes sure that it wasn't a trap, that there wasn't a Nyx assassin scouting him out the whole time. They always have the extra help of that Wrath of Nature as well.
With me.
thing is all three of their cores have ways to be able to farm up treants too. So if they actually had a more successful laning phase, if they just didn't bleed out all towers, all map control, everything, then maybe they could have actually done something here. Tried to go for the impale on the TP, but it was baited out by mind control.
A little bit too far. But still all map control in favor of Liquid. Miracle is very farmed at this point. I think for Gambit right now, when you lose this much map control, the problem is you have no wards on the map. So it's hard for you to just blind smoke out, because you're just risking the game at that point.
And with this wide window of where Roshan can spawn,
Trying to find those
it's
sneaky
going to be
bums.
tough. Do you think they have to go for the Roshan defense, or can they play with the high ground?
I think they have to go for the Roche defense, because I think the Oracle ulti in conjunction with the Aegis is just a little bit too much to overcome. That's what I meant about, you know, you ideally want to get something going, but it's so scary to just go for the smoke. But going for Roshan, when it is up, you know it'll be up. So it's a very easy objective, I think, for the team that's behind to fight around.
Trying to get this pick off on the Furion. Mind Control does have an Orchid, so if he's fast enough, he can slow down this hit from Immersion. Doesn't actually get it off the impale. That one's going to be here. Split Earth as well. A really good kill. The second one for Gambit in this game. So this time around, they don't trade anything.
They're all getting BKBs, though. They're all getting BKBs.
And they have all these ether lens too. Like, they don't have like the greatest jump in the world. There's sentries in place. The Nyx assassin can't get there. They don't have a blink dagger, and the Hawk isn't going for one either. He went for Evan's Halberd. He's building into a flame mail now. So they don't have a good way to get to that back line in the first place. But a Roshan pit, it kind of inverts everything, where the back line is kind of exposed, and your damage dealers are there in that dead end. They're going to try and kill the bear here, but help the skeletons. Trying to slow it down, but simultaneously can't get too far out of position. Impale, that's going to land, and that is going to be the bear kill.
Oh, careful.
See if they can blow up this Wraith King, take away the reincarnation. There's going to be the imprisonment save, but they have to try and take away these serpent wards, force them away. Still managed to get him with the long-range nukes, and they do have treants currently hitting the melee barracks. Gambit really can't worry about that too much right now. They just need to be able to fight the game. Somehow Miracle jumps in, and hits the impale. Immersion trying to go for a GH, but he managed to dodge out that impale. Axfly coming back from his imprisonment. They're trying to finish off this bear really quickly, at least as best as possible. 2 minutes from the open there from Apple. Another good imprisonment save, but Miracle's just going to go and set that up. Look at it. Imprisonment is the imprisonment to kill the OD very easily. Immersion, he's going to stall things a little bit here, but that's going to be 4 dead from Gambit, and Team Liquid don't even need Roshan at this point. They can just go for the high ground, force some buybacks.
I mean, they went for it, but mind controls pressure on the map just a little bit too much, as well as the farm disadvantage. Just continuously kite the Wraith King.
The Wraith King
He doesn't really have a second core that he can work with that can go for this. So Liquid know that as long as they just continue to kite this one guy, they know there's no other damage source.
Also, hopefully somebody has looked at that. I think Matama Man may have passed over his radiance from his bear onto his hero before it died. It's sometime during that fight.
Oh, that's sick.
He kept his radiance for that team fight. Really smart play. And so, as they force a buyback out of Gambit, they can head back to that Roshan pit. Let's not forget about those bounty runes that spawned a minute ago. 19 bounty runes to 4. It's just one more metric to show you how one-sided this game has been to the favor of Team Liquid. Gambit, they put together some incredible team fights in Game 1, but it's hard to overcome such a sharp net worth advantage. Immersion trying to wrap his way all the way around. Maybe spotted him because of the ward they have on the high ground next to the Roshan pit. But it's a cool ward too, from the Dire side. But
I don't really know what plays you have. I am 17-2.
Yeah, every single time we talk about Gambit, there's always a but.
Yeah, this just... And you saw OD drop the hammer, and it's really not that scary.
No, it wasn't at all. They killed the lone druid bear twice. That's what they accomplished in that team. So now, and you said it had to be the Roshan defense. Gambit, they tried, weren't able to get it together, so now they're going to have to go with the high ground defense, which is probably going to be harder here as they have so many liberties they can take. Just drop the circle wards and the bear, they have BKBs available, they have an Aegis. Miracle once again going to turn to the Nyx assassin. It's such a great hero to turn into. That's like airbase, especially allowing you to be able to get free stuns. Look at that, the match community just allowing Miracle to soak up some damage. Don't even need the false promise. Bear running forward, trying to finish up that lane. Miracle dives in. Takes out that Jakiro. Now they actually have to go against the back line. That's going to be chipping it down as well. Beyond godlike for him. And Miracle is only halfway through this while Matumbaman's taking that mid lane of Bear. There's going to be 2 lanes gone. And the top lane fully exposed here. At this rate, Team Liquid don't even necessarily have to win a team fight to close out this game. All they have to do is just hit the buildings.
They can just be as patient as they want, send in their cores. They don't have to commit anything for this. Send in the bear at this point.
So Gambit, they are the ones who have to go kind of out there and put a stop to this one. They're going to start playing. There's going to be a shotgun on to the left rank. Bring him a bit low. There's going to be forced out from the pursuit. There's going to be the ball back. Bears just going forward right now. The melee Bears dropping fast. They just keep on throwing more stuns at this bear. And he keeps on getting saved by the Oracle. In fact, he's going to false promise it just to make sure the second bear does stay alive. A bunch of buybacks forced, and Liquid did use some abilities, and since they're on cooldown and they'll back up, they're going to play it very safe. They respect Gambit as a team a lot, and they're not trying to throw this game. They're actually going to get caught here as Miracle. Well, he doesn't get caught, he has to kill Merchant. Now they're going to turn, go for the left right kill, who did buyback in his last engagement. Possibly BKB, and then James is dead. Now look for Admiral or Afterlife. Well, maybe he can go for Dog as well, since he does have a reincarnation, but they take away that first life. He's keeping some life, just currently off the life steal right now. That's going to be all there. Control, almost finishing up the OD, but it's not quite enough. Now the BKB from Michael Chelsea just stands his ground. Finish up that first line on the ring. HP comes back. Now Miracle on play, just committing his life onto the radius so he can go all those down. Now Man's going to shackles as well. Now gets back inside the base, but it's already been taken by Matumbaman. He's already slipped through, cut off the throat of Gambit and Team Liquid. Boy, when they finished off about a game plan or what? This was just, they took zero risk and they dominated Gambit from the start. It was all that mid rotation. When 4 people came in and Gambit had no response, you knew what the game was going to look like. Yeah. They couldn't defend any of their towers. Part of the problem with giving up that mid tower so early on in the game is it represents that you have no interest in defending the other towers because your lineup just can't do